Hello Interior Design Show, I'm Sacha Berger, founder of Honeybee Interiors. This is the Highgate project in North London and I would love to show you around. Come on in. The client and me were totally aligned and had the same vision, so it was really collaborative and great fun to work with. This house had so many beautiful original features, so we obviously wanted to keep them but just elevate them all. Such gorgeous natural light coming through, which I have to give credit to the architect for designing this lovely skylight window. I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate there's two Louis Vuitton trunks that were from her collection, and this is now like a cocktail bar. Isn't it just beautiful? I was delighted to be asked to work on this project. Not only is it a beautiful house, but it started off that she wanted some help with the extension at the back of the house, building 2 new rooms, but it ended up being a whole interior design refurbishment. And the client and me were totally aligned and had the same vision. So it was really collaborative and great fun to work with. Let me come and show you the hallway first, which I feel sets the tone for the whole house. As you come in here, there wasn't any paneling before, so we beaded halfway up here and then got this amazing mural that goes the whole length of the wall from Zardi and Zardi, which I just loves and gives this kind of antique oldie feel. And then when you come around here, we've got a crescenda, which was from Soho Home, and some lovely pieces from Restoration Hardware with a full height mirror that really gives it a wow factor. And we didn't want to have any white, so we've used 2 tones of these really nice beiges to really show off these architectural features. As you come in, you can see the whole way through to the garden, so the view's quite amazing. This house had so many beautiful original features, so we obviously wanted to keep them, but just elevate them all. For example, this gorgeous front door, all the windows were changed for new stained glass windows, and we matched the colours to go with the mural in the hallway. So they're all really pastel greens, pale greens, and they've got this beautiful little robin that is so special, and it's actually replicated in the stairways as you go upstairs. The flooring was changed in the hallway for this beautiful original limestone flooring, which carries on through all the way into the kitchen. Then it's contrasted with this very rich kind of antique oak, which is very warm, and that goes all the way upstairs in the rest of the house, as well as the living areas here. So as we come into the kitchen, there's this gorgeous sight line all the way through of the garden, which really is beautiful. And this is the room where the extension was made. So we extended the kitchen, and there was also another room that was made, which is like a movie room. As well as that, you've got the more formal dining room, and then you've got the living space at the front of the house. But there's so many functional areas here. So let me start by telling you about the kitchen. So the kitchen is designed by Tom Howley, and it's in a really beautiful traditional style, with the island being a slightly darker sage green than the units along here. It's got a very practical quartz worktop, and that really shows off all these lovely antique brass fixtures like the cooker tap as well as the handles. And actually, if we come back here, I can show you the great breakfast station. So not only is it beautiful and it's got real wood everywhere, but it's so practical for being able to hand all those appliances that you don't want out. And as we come down here, we've got to mention this amazing range cooker. The family love to eat, and she's a really great cook, so this was really important for her. She's also got some really lovely crockery, so we created these glass doors to really show it off, and there's just so many added details here. There's like tongue and groove at the back of the units, which ties in with on the walls and also on the island. You can see all the lighting in the units, and lighting was really key for this kitchen space, because not only does it get tons of natural light, but we really wanted there to be lots of different low-level lighting that you could use at different times of the evening. So when we're in this space, we've got the big pendant light from CTO lighting over the island, and then we've got a separate pendant in rattan, which is really earthy, over the little casual nook to eat. And then when we come over here to the dividing wall, there's lighting in the bar area, and there's these LED strips underneath the wall and also in the skylight. So there's so many different options, and we kind of wanted it to zone out the kitchen and the living room and separate them, but as a bit of feature to it as well. So we did it in a concrete plaster, which has got a really interesting texture to it. And then because there was some space, we made a bar on this side, and we've got this dual aspect fire that shows in both rooms. So it's a real standout moment, and it's really warm and cozy, and you get the benefit from both sides. And lastly, in the kitchen, we've got this little moment here, which is another option for some casual dining. We got it bespoke made in a really warm burl wood, which kind of really ties in to the wood finishes in the other areas. And these chairs, they're so comfortable. They're from Sixth Residence, and then this lovely camel velvet. So it really goes well with all the greens and the earthy colours. And on that note, the green follows in into the garden, which is just off the kitchen. So as you open the sliding doors, you've got this great patio area to be able to have lunch and dinner with friends. And then as you go up the stairs, it's got a home gym, which is fully kitted out, and they use it every single day. Now we come into the new movie TV room, which was a whole extension. And this is the other side of the fireplace wall. And so here we did some walnut shelving. That's a good excuse to have some lighting and show off some more decorative pieces. As we come round, this is a beautiful sofa that we both fell in love with when we saw it. It's incredibly comfortable. I love how low it is. And you've also got the added detail of the wood that ties in with the flooring. And then this rug, this was bespoke made, and each square was stitched differently and has a kind of different texture and layout. But the whole room has a very soft, airy feel to it. And then we've got this really large piece of art, which is actually from Etsy, which is a place I often find art, but it's more decorative and it just suits the whole kind of soft, airy colour palette of this room. And then we put these lights slightly lower. They're from Porto Romano, and they've got the lovely rattan that kind of ties in with the rest of the earthy vibe. And here we've added in a bit of colour, like with this lovely velvet olive ottoman that's really lush, and it's a nice contrast for all the linens, which is also replicated in more muted greens for the cushions. And I want to mention this beautiful wave curtains. They're just a really lovely fabric, kind of mid-weight, so at night it's enough to stop all the darkness coming in and feel cosy, but in the daytime the sunlight can still come through. And as you can see in here, this is another room that has such gorgeous natural light coming through, which I have to give credit to the architect for designing this lovely skylight window, and the sun just beams down. So you really don't need any of the high level lighting in here. So one thing we had to take into consideration with this space, that it's actually all open plan and you can see each vantage point from each area. So we wanted to do a colour palette that blended but wasn't two-dimensional. So we've got the greens, then we move into the ambers, and as we go into the living room, it's more of the pinks, but they work really nicely together. And in this room, you can see that the main bit of colour is from this really statement chandelier, which is from pure white lines. It just works beautifully being centred over the table. It's also got lots of natural stones and different finishes in here. So this is a travertine dining table. And then we've got these monochrome chairs, which have got this very interesting detailing at the back, which again ties in with all the walnut flooring. So these were both of her antique chest of drawers that were very beautiful and had to be kept. But we elevated this wall by adding some panelling into the alcoves with a very textured design wallpaper, and also added some wall sconces for low level lighting when they're having dinner parties. This was actually an original feature, as was the stove, and it gives amazing heat. Antique mirror templated on top to fill the whole space, as otherwise it felt a bit too busy. And before we move on, I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate there's 2 Louis Vuitton trunks that were from her collection, and this is now like a cocktail bar. Isn't it just beautiful? This area is the more formal living area. It is such a soft and dreamy palette because she actually had these pink sofas that she did want to keep. So it was a great excuse to do a lovely pink colour scheme. And then we've mixed it up by doing slightly deeper wine colours, just for some depth and contrast, which all comes together in this very beautiful rug that was from Soho Home. Over on this wall, the stove was here, but we created this new fireplace and designed it from scratch. So we chose a really great piece of marble, and then we were able to use some of that slab to put on the worktops for the newly designed joinery. So the joinery is all lit up, quite simple and soft, with some beading on there, which kind of ties in with the new panelling that we've also added on that long wall. The client had lots of personal art that actually it wasn't till the end that we kind of picked and chosen where it went, but this one works beautifully here. We added some wall sconces on, some more low level lighting, and these are actually very similar to the light in the dining room, but obviously in a different colour. This coffee table is the perfect size. It's got the lovely wood finish and the shelving, so you can really decorate it with coffee table books, and it really filled the space really well. And let's give a little moment for this pink chandelier. It's from Soho Home, and it just finishes off this room perfectly. This is a real lovely little area that I particularly love, not only the pink cushions, but this joinery here. And I know staging is so important at the end with joinery, and it can be tricky. I don't follow any set rules as it's quite instinctive, but when I look here, I would always say choose some really statement, large, beautiful pieces like these vases. Allow enough space, don't overclutter with too many things. And if you've got something that's on its own, maybe put something that's a bit of a pair, because you want to create contrast throughout them, but ultimately choose things that you love. Luckily in this project, we were both aligned on that. And just before we go upstairs, let me show you the powder room. You come in, Bella. This is another pink moment, but we've drenched the whole room in like a very dirty pink and paired it with this bespoke travertine sink, which really ties in with the limestone. Another thing, we've had some panelling in here, but also the blinds are different in each space. They've all got a different design style, and this is my favourite because it's got this pink and cream fringing, which I think gives a real elegant but playful feel to the space. Now that's the ground floor finish, let's go upstairs and see some bedrooms. Now we're up on the first floor landing, and there was a couple of bedrooms that I worked on that I will show you, one being the spare bedroom on the right. Beforehand, let me just show you this bookcase. So originally it was just a white IKEA bookcase and quite small to house all their books. And now we've created this 3.5 metre bookcase with really lovely grooves and designs, and it houses all their books. So I think this really elevates the hallway area, and it's got a little seating space. And this is the son's bedroom, and we've gone for a really warm earthy colour, all with nice beiges and rusts, and again tying in the walnut with these shaker style wardrobes that have got a really nice textured rattan wallpaper to add interest to this wall. And I love these bamboo handles. Everything's very soft, the lighting is made of fabric, and as we can see here, we've got a different style for the Roman blinds here, which have got a border of the rust tying it in with the bed. And this is another room that I helped with, mainly in the joinery, but we kind of went for a two-tone colour here to make the joinery really stand out in a dirty bluey grey. We wanted an area for her son to be able to work at, and this fits 2 people. And then we've done this nice shaker design with the bronze hardware, but then done the back in a tongue and groove. And it's complemented over by the other side, which are these wardrobes here, and they've got the rattan inserts. This is somewhere where he can work, he plays the piano, and it was a good place for the owners to actually add a lot of their art that they still had remaining, which they've put on the wall. And this is the master bathroom, and as you can see, it has so much natural light in here. So we wanted to keep it really creamy and white and soft. So the tiles is a mixture of the chevron style and the big of like an amber Calcutta, so it's very warm. To add more warmth, we got this vanity unit from Parker and Howley, which has got the reeded wood and like unlacquered taps, so they patina really nicely. This was a bit of a special moment, having the pendant light, which is a designer light from Pinch, and it's really warm and it just makes it feel less cold in a bathroom. The other blind, as each blind is slightly different, is that this blind is actually more of a relaxed French style, and it's a voile, and again just to soften the place. And then of course we have the freestanding bath, which we put on an angle in the corner, and it's made of resin and it just allows more space, and I think that works really well. And this is the dressing room area where we helped with the joinery. We added extra storage and did the same shaker style with the rattan wallpaper. And we actually had some marble left from the fireplace. We added this here and made a little dressing table moment. And you get loads of natural light here, so it's a great place to put your makeup on. And this is one of the other designs from the Roman blinds. This is a scalloped finish with some piping. And it's just little added detail to make it look really pretty. So that's all for the tour. I hope you like what you've seen. And if you'd like to get in touch with Honeybee Interiors, all the information is below the video. Bye, hope to see you soon.
Hi there, Luxury Home Show. I'm Sarah and I am House Obsessed on Instagram, and I'm also a micro property developer. This is my home in South East London. Come on in and have a look.